All right, guys, I have a confession. When I have a programming job or, a hard diag, um, I don't really try. I just grab my magic wand and I say, Oculus Reparo. Quack, quack. Welcome to Ducks, Facts, and Quacks, where I just annoy the living shit out of you. Today, we are going to discuss the truth about module programming. When Guardian fixed the damn call. Yeah, so I just walk up and be like, and the shit fixes itself. It's magic. Like $20 on Amazon, right? I think this is like a Death Eater one. So, be careful. All those Pentastars. Timing chains is fixed. Oh, you got a worn out camshaft? Done. I hate Pentastars. To be quite honest with you, it is very boring. Very boring. It's not magic. There is no wand required, right? And it's not in the sense of like programming, like the cool shit you see on like Fast and Furious. You know, like the old meme, like never race a Honda with a laptop. Yeah, we're not doing tuning. We just press buttons and we do handshakes and write vens, and it's very underwhelming. A lot of it's just like this right here. You just sit down and you're like, click, click, click. Of course, there's some rules, and we'll go over those rules, right? So, yeah, module programming is not it's not difficult. Now, when I say this is for me. Okay, so I am familiar with programming Ford, GM, Kia, Hyundai, Chrysler, Mazda, which is pretty much Ford, just rebranded. But for those, we'll just stick it there, right? So essentially, it's very straightforward, very easy, but there is guidelines that you have to follow, right? I'm not going to say, that's my cat. I'm not going to say that module programming is for the DIY. Now, can you do it? Of course. Hell, you can do anything you want to. I'm not a carpenter, but I can sure build something. It may not be straight and true, but I can build it. It's going to boil down to how bad do you want to do it and how do you do it? Do you want to do it correctly? Do you want to be safe? Do you want to have something that lasts forever? Do you want to run the risk of bricking a module? And you won't know the pain of bricking a module until you do it, especially when you're the one floating the bill. It does happen. Seen it firsthand. So let's go ahead and get into this. The truth behind module programming. It's not difficult. It's not. It is expensive on the base that you have to have the OE level software. Now, before we go any further, I am not responsible for you bricking your module. TOPDON is not responsible for you bricking your module. Whatever you decide to do to your vehicle is on you. So, listen. All right? First things first. You got to have service information, right? You got to have it. There's things in there that you will take for granted that will burn you. I've heard it in classes. I've heard it through the grapevine. We all talk together. You have your tech circle, and I've seen that firsthand. Battery voltage is key. I would say that my team leader at Toyota bricked a Prius module because he wanted to use a jump box instead of taking the extra time to put on an actual maintainer. And truth be told, you should really be using a battery supply. Personally, I use the Tornado 90,000. Have I always used it? No, never had access to it. Now, at dealership level, you do have the access to a power supply. Does anybody tell you to use it? No. You grab the easiest one, the one that's not being tied up for a warranty battery recharge or the one that doesn't work anymore because someone, strapped the cords up super tight and broke it. You're grabbing a charger or something like that. You're just trying to get the job done. But that is not correct. I've heard it firsthand for Chrysler, and I've actually experienced it, and that's why I don't play that game. So, corrupt data being loaded to a new module causing the same issue because of unstable battery voltage. On the older vehicles, this is all my opinion. On the older vehicles, it was not that big of a deal to grab a battery charger and, do what you had to do, software update mostly, and get the job done, right? Well, nowadays, we have upwards towards 60 modules in a vehicle. And battery voltage is extremely, extremely important when it comes to programming. If you've ever seen a programming screen, you'll see where it keeps track of the battery voltage. Chrysler is super duper hardcore, and so is Mazda. Mazda literally reminds you every single time that it dips down below like 10.9. Stop. Nowadays, if I'm doing any kind of module reprogramming or replacement, any kind of software update, I am grabbing my battery supply. I just had a job a few weeks ago where the over-the-air, remote programming for this module failed on the shop. And then the person that was doing the remote programming kind of just washed her hands of it and said, hey, you got a bad module. Well, I go in there and guess what? The battery spanked. Literally 1.9 volts. Nothing. And it wouldn't take a charge. Can't do shit with that. Throw it in the trash. Get you a new battery. Don't even play that game. So battery voltage is imperative. Stable, constant battery voltage is imperative. Okay? Number one rule. Battery supply, not charger. Chargers can range up from 10.5 to 3.9, 14.5, whatever. You need a constant supply battery voltage, not peaks and valleys, a straight line. Okay? Seen it firsthand. Especially on the new Chryslers. Please. Number 2, correct tooling and service information. Tooling wise, you can get the OEM tools. Sometimes it is the only thing that's actually going to work for you. It's so great, dude. It's so great. I will say personally, by using the R-Link J2534 box, I've had no issues. It is literally the same thing as I use when I use the OEM tools, and I do have them. So, food for thought, right? Hell, I'd rather grab the R-Link versus grabbing the damn Ford and the Mazda, or the Ford Mazda and the GM Bosch boxes. They're a pain in the ass. They're big, they're bulky, the cords suck ass. Like, I rather just grab my one dongle, do my driver, upload, call it a day, keep moving, right? Same thing. It works just fine. Service information. Depending on what you are programming, depending on what module it is, the make, model, the year, do not take anything for granted. Always approach every job as it's the first time you've done it. At least, take it with a grain of salt, right? But I've heard firsthand experiences of people assuming that it's just this, beep, boop, bop, boop, gone, good to go. And it's not. And they got burnt, and they wasted a lot of money. So, and that was a big name. So, never take it for granted. Take the few extra minutes, look up the procedure, look up the requirements, especially like for GM. Look up what actually has to be done. Do you need PIN code for keys? Do you have to have 2 keys for Ford? Do you have to have, does it have to be Wednesday and you have to stand on one foot and do the hokey pokey? It may be there. Do your research and just follow the service information. If you don't, you may get by. There's always, even a broke clock is correct, once a day. So food for thought. And nowadays, guys, the way that social media works and shit, like everybody's going to be like, I did this. Well, I've been doing this shit for like 17 years and I know what I've seen. And when I'm in classrooms, I listen. So you do what you want to, but I'm not trying to buy a module and I'm trying to prevent you guys from doing the same thing. So read the service information. It may help you out and it may save you a lot of time and frustration. Anybody can program modules. You got to have a couple things, okay? Got to have a computer. You got to have service information and or you got to have the subscription to the manufacturer that you want to program. You're not going to find anywhere else. Don't be that guy and download Forescan and try to run it on a vehicle that requires FDRS. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go research your stuff. Okay? Don't work that way. You got to have the OEM subscriptions. Now, I am blessed that I have the access to OEM subscriptions and service information. I don't have to use the aftermarket version side of the tools, right? I actually have FTRS, I have IDS, I have Line Connect 2 or whatever the hell it's called, TLC. I have the dealer level stuff, YTech. I have that. I can't tell you because I haven't used the aftermarket stuff, but I know my friend uses Forescan a lot and it works really good, for the majority. Also, you can do a lot of stuff in there, but you also can mess things up if you don't know what you're doing. So just please do your research. And I know no one wants to read. That's why you're watching videos, but you have to. In this field, things change every single day. Just suck it up and read the shit, dude. You're gonna save yourself so many headaches. I don't recommend the DIY trying to do module programming. And the reason for that is, for one, it is expensive when you try to get certain subscriptions. And also that you can make mistakes and cause issues. And also, 9 times out of 10, maybe 8 times out of 10, I'm being generous. When people call bad modules, it's not usually the module. So the last thing that I want to do is put a module in a car. I'm going to do everything in my power to prove that it's not the module. And then if it is, then we'll proceed. But listen, it's usually not the module. So that's why I'm like, if you want to go for it, you can. But I've had customers do their Google search and their forum search, and this person said that and that person said this, and I just want you to put this BCM in the car or in the truck for this matter. And I did it because that's what he wanted. Okay, problem's still there. So not only did the customer buy a BCM, then paid me to actually install it, then he had to pay me to figure out what was actually wrong. And I'll be honest with you, I spent 1.5 hours, 2 hours diagging it before I put the BCM in because I was trying to do that customer a favor. So truck's fixed, it's gone. But he could have saved a lot of money if he just paid diag. But that's it, man. Module programming is easy until it's not. So food for thought. Guys, be careful out there. Seriously, like it's a lot of button pressing, and it's very boring, and it's pretty much mundane. I'll tell you, in the dealership world, when you have like certain software updates for recalls and whatnot, we're putting the charger on there, we're grabbing the tool, and we're plugging it in, and we're getting the update started. And that car is probably behind my bay because I'm probably doing like, a real job in front of it. So it's pretty much go. It's not exciting. It's not. And then you run into issues that you don't foresee, like the one with the bad battery. I get there and the damn battery's spanked. It's like, oh my God, okay. What do you do then? You know? And then nowadays with all the manufacturers going to a server base to scan tool, what happens when you lose Wi-Fi? The one thing I do dislike about Y-Tech is whenever I do lose like connection between the dongle and internet in between or in the middle of doing a programming event. Usually it's very forgiving. As long as you have that power supply and you just be patient with it, it is forgiving. Knock on wood, I have not bricked something just yet. Came very close. And then that's when I started using the power supply. So think about that. But yeah, there you have it, man. The truth behind module programming. No magic required. Just a little bit of reading, a little bit of knowledge, patience, some tooling. Other than that, man, that's pretty much straightforward. And remember, usually it's not the module. So do all you can to prove that it's not, because sometimes putting modules in can be a real pain in the ass. Ford BCMs suck. You may get a bad one, a brand new bad one from Ford. They really suck. I hate doing them. You got to have 2 keys, and no one ever has 2 keys, and keys are expensive, and it's hell. You could do everything right, have all the OEM stuff, and it still not go right. So it's one of those things, guys. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there, and we'll do some more programming stuff here. I do have one in the works. I'll probably run you through I think it's a Mazda recall. It's just a software update to a PCM, and we'll see what happens. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. So quack quack, and I'm back. Peace. That yeah, we're back on track.